Hello everyone again. Right, let's do some drawing. Sorry for a second, I completely forgot that I should be talking. Not doing very well for the second video, am I? Anyway, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who watched the video last time. And an even bigger thank you for everyone that followed and have given me some wonderful supportive feedback. One of them being the sound was really quiet. So there is a way to make it a little bit louder in post-production. So I'll be doing that. But if it persists, the quietness, just give me a shout. Any feedback is good feedback. That's all really helpful. So today I'm just drawing, I don't know, I just wanted to draw sort of a more alien-ish version of one of the Wanderers. So this character was actually in a little comic book I did a few years ago. And it was about the world. But specifically it was about 3 characters, and this is one character called Dawn. This character has always been a little bit special to me. She's got some unique abilities. I mean, this isn't actually Dawn, but this is sort of a different version of Dawn. So I thought it'd be cool to do a different version of her. And we'll see how we do. So you'll probably notice that a lot of the characters wear these masks. They look like bones and mechanical stuff all mixed in together. I've always called them a carapace. So in the game, there won't be a lot of stuff you can customize on the character themselves. You know, the enemies are so difficult and so powerful, and you're such a small entity in this world that, you know, only a few hits would hurt, you know, do you in. So I always like the idea of not having too much that could change on your character in terms of like armor and stuff, because the things you're fighting are far bigger than you and far more powerful. Again, going back to sort of Bloodborne-esque feel to it. It's more about dodging and thinking on your feet and working out strategies than just tanking. Then again, saying that, the character in the first video is kind of tanky, but still, even then, you wouldn't want to take too many hits from the creatures around. So yeah, the carapace is one of those things you can actually change and you know, swap out. And what they are is the sort of the thing that gives perception. So it enables you to see different things in the world, like whispers. And again, I'm kind of jumping back and forth, and apologies. I will try and become more linear in what I ramble about, if that's possible. But I just thought I'd give a little bit every video. Plus, that's kind of how my brain works. I'm not really, you know, one route kind of person. I'm a little bit all over the place. So yeah, perception-wise and whispers, that's what I'm on about. Oh, getting there. Don't worry, we're getting there. So when another one of these people that get lost in the wastes, wanderers or pilgrims, they can leave their whispers, their thoughts, their feelings, words in the world. And the world itself is kind of ethereal, but not quite. It's almost like substance to the air. It's thick. Movement is difficult. Every breath is strained and hard to get. So masks, the carapaces, is what helps you deal with the world's atmosphere. What am I on about? Sorry, it's been a long day, but what was I talking about? Oh, goodness me. You know what? I'll just do some details maybe a little bit. Maybe that'll help my brain working a little bit better. So, whispers. I got it. So this is kind of like side quests. In a sense, you're going around the world. You probably have a few quests, tasks that you want to succeed in on your playthrough, your run. But side quests are found from these whispers in the air. So depending on your discovery, which is kind of like, if anyone's played any tabletop RPG, it's kind of like your perception. But also a kind of a mix of wisdom as well. It's sort of being able to listen, to actually like an insightful listening. But you'll hear things. You'll be able to read words of what people before you have left, and it will lead you to other little things to do. Yeah, I think that was almost congruent. Hey, right. So this image, I'm really enjoying just being a little bit sketchy and putting a bit more detail than usual. So I'll go through what I'm drawing in a moment. So the garbs, sort of like the universal cloth that a lot of the pilgrims and wanderers wear. And some are called lurs, but we'll come back to that another time. A lot of them will have, long garbs that sort of cover the body, and a carapace, and lots of bags, which is held on the back by something called a shackle. And the shackles are another thing that you can change and swap in and out of different your character, because the idea of them is you'll be able to hold different things. Like one shackle will be really good at like gathering stuff like wood and materials for crafting, but other shackles will be all about holding weapons. Weapons is not a huge thing in the game in my mind, but certainly plays a unique part. It won't change how your character works, because each character will have quite an in-depth ability tree, sort of trying to work around 16 to 20 different abilities for each, which doesn't sound like a huge amount. But when you mix in carapaces that change how characters work, ones might, no, I won't give any ideas like that, but, and also with talismans and effigies, which are sort of the bread and butter of changing how your character works in the world. So it should give you plenty to play with in terms of customization, because I rambled about this last time a little bit, but I think customization is probably my favorite and the most key thing in any game for me. I want to be able to make something special. That's important. Right, so bags. See, I always think the bags they're always going to be a little bit slapdash. They're not going to be perfect. A lot of them are going to be handmade from leather and whatever materials these people of the Waste can get their hands on. And it will be holding herbs, equipment, and most of the time just holding resources, really, I think. Yeah, right. All right, so once again, I did a little sketch for myself, but I'm not really going to stick to it, because I think it's more fun to kind of make it up as I go. But the shape there is kind of there, and I kind of know sort of know what I'm doing. You would have thought after years and years of drawing these little characters I would have a better idea, but I have no idea. I'm still making up as I go. Sort of in all aspects of life, really. Right, so another little bit that I'll talk about. When you start the game, in my head, you'll have your life and then a backup life. So if you do go into a situation that you can't deal with and you falter and you fall, you'll have what I like to call just like an effigy of yourself. So that's what that is meant to be. So that's her hair and a little skull mask, a carapace, and little garb, and then these little spiky bits, and you'll see what they are in a second. Right. These are just canisters. I just thought it was cool, so I stuck them in. There's nothing really special about them. Sorry, I'm just getting really into stitching today. Don't know what that's about. I suppose repairing. Maybe that's where I'm at. Alright, a few little bit of fungi. Some more little wiggly things. I think if I ever did a video about how to draw or how I draw, I think 90% of it would be put little squiggly things in there. You know? You can't have enough little squiggly bits. Have some little spores. I don't know what that was, a bit of fluff, so I've made that bit of fluff a part of the drawing. This is going alright, actually. This is something else. We'll come back to that. Let me move this a little bit. Nice. And you'll probably always see me draw sort of feet outstretched like this, and that's because I'm kind of crap at drawing feet, and I just think this is a easier way of drawing it. And I just think it's really cool if it's like, if the foot looks tense, it's kind of like hands, if the hands and feet look tense, I just think gives more life to the drawing itself. A couple of little scars on there, and then the back foot, I kind of hid it at the back, so you can't see too much of how bad my feet drawings are. And if anyone's wondering where I learned to draw feet, it's from Disney's Tarzan. I thought that was a really cool film. Alright, here we go. A couple of little rocks. Alright, throw that one up there, because that's going to come back into play later, this little gap here. Alright. A few little creepy leaves on this little plant thing. Alright. And then I'll draw a little bit more of this cloak coming under here, wrapping around. And then back round here. And you'll see why in a second. I've deliberately made little gaps in there. Just trying to bring this bit alive. So Dawn's one of the reasons why Dawn is an interesting character and unique. And I talked about this last time, in the fact that every character or class will have their own special ability tree and mini game. So Dawn's has this creature that is sort of symbiotic to her. And this creature has these long bladed appendages, like little scythes, but they're sort of a mix of bone, flesh, and sort of like decay matter. I know. Apologies anyone eating their food while I'm talking about this. Yeah, a couple of little honey bits. I'll do another one there. Do one there. I don't want to overdo it with these bits. I just want to give it a little bit more depth than just the front field, if that makes sense. And then, that's fine that side. A few more little bits. And should have missed a little bit there with the foot, so I could have put something in front, but it's fine. It's fine. Doesn't need to be perfect. Right, I'm going to carry on with this. I'm going to move so you have a better view. How was your day then? What have you been up to? I always wonder, what crazy weird things people get up to. All the wonderfully mundane stuff. Big fan of the mundane. Right, another little blade. We'll put a little bit of a saw on that one. Maybe a second limb as well. That's cool. Right, some fungi. Maybe a few more little spores here and there. One that goes kind of through that one, and then this is kind of like two bones that meet together on this one. And then that's it. It's cool. And we'll put just a little bit of shade in there. It's looking right. So another piece of the puzzle. So when you go off, go gallivanting in this game, you're kind of left in a particularly cruel and dark world. So, as a bit of a lifeline, you've got these things called tethers. So, I don't know about you, but there's something about some games, or just in the past I've played, where you have to keep running back and forth from, your home base. Sorry about that. Just taking a sip of my coffee and just absolutely diabolically terrible presentation of a channel. Oh dear. Where was I? So, perfect edit. The tether. Yes, I was talking about games where you have to run back and forth. And I feel like it kind of disrupts the flow of games sometimes. So the idea of this is you can purchase in the game with embargoes again, another time, these little creatures called isopods, and they will run back and forth for you. Also, the tether itself isn't fully physical. It's slightly ethereal. It's not quite real, and it's not quite not. I know that's some good descriptive words there. Woo-hoo. Apologies. It was a day. Right. So yeah, the tether also offers, if you starting to get kind of hurt, you can kind of get yourself pulled back to a safer place. But yeah, just mechanical stuff I just find super fascinating. I think more to draw than anything, because I'm still not really sure what genre the game falls under, because there's essences of plenty of fantasy, but also kind of like a sci-fi kind of feel to it. I'm not entirely sure where I'm at yet. Is it sci-fi? Is it fantasy? Is it fantasy? I don't know. Right. That's looking pretty good. I think we're think we're happy with that. Oh, shouldn't have drawn that line. That's terrible. But the rest of it, kind of, let's do a little bit of scratchiness, and we are rock and roll. Look at that. Lovely. Oh, if you've stuck with me this far, thank you. Right, just going to do a little bit of rubbing. Right, we'll rub out all the lines. I forgot to do this last time because I was worried about the time, and I know I did say that try and keep my videos about 10-12 minutes, and I must have overshot that for this one massively. And I don't know if it's because I'm more relaxed, or maybe I was just more into the drawing this time than last night. Last night was quite nerve-wracking. Isn't that silly? And then I will grab a 2B pencil, and I'm just going to do some shading real quick. Nothing too special. I think it has a nice finish to it, especially with a 2B. I don't know, it just adds another plane of like depth. Because I know the drawing's actually a little bit flat if you actually look at it. The cloth is kind of flat, and there's lots of things I would change if I was to do it again, maybe. But I just think this is quite a nice little cop-out. And this is about as far as I get the colour in anyway. Terrible colours. Terrible. Absolutely awful with them. But I can doodle pretty well. Well, some things. Like I said, it's going to be quite rough. I think the light's coming down. But even then, was I completely off screen? I am so sorry. Absolute shoddy workmanship. Shoddy. Right, here we are. Well, I guess this is the time to say that if you're enjoying the absolute nonsense that's coming out of my gob, love a like, or a follow, or a share, or just a nice comment. Please let them be nice comments, because my ego is very shallow. Shallow? That's not the word I was looking for. What was I looking for? Shallow? No, that can't be it. Fragile. Oh my goodness. I've lost words altogether now. No worries. I suppose that's why I draw and not talk for a living. And I guess I don't really draw for a living either. Nice, look at that. That's not bad. That looks alright. Not the best, not the worst. Good enough. So yeah, I don't know if the videos will sort of follow this sort of nature of a longer one, but I mean, if they do, let me know if what's your thoughts, and are you enjoying the rambles, or would you prefer more silence? Not that I would not be able to ramble, because it's kind of my thing, but it'd be good to know. All right, how are we doing for time? We are okay. What I might do, I just finish off real quick. There we go. There we are. So once again, nothing too perfect, nice and sketchy. And yeah, you know what? I might finish off there. I've done it again. I'm so sorry. Right, you know what? I'm going to finish off there and do a little bit of clean up, and then I'll stick a little final piece down. So once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you're having a really good day. All right, you all take care. Goodbye.